Good morning. This is Sandy Conkar, and I welcome you to Surviving the Diagnosis. It's happened to all of us, along with my co-host, Peggy Mangan. Good morning, Peggy.
Good morning, Sandy, and everyone watching.
Peggy and I are really excited this morning because we're going to change things up a little bit in our show, and we feel that we're going to be better serving you in this new format. And just to give a little bit of a background of if you're new to the show, that I'm Sandy Conkar, and I'm the founder of caregiversanity.com, and Peggy Mangan is the founder of Joy After Cancer. And Peggy and I have been colleagues for nearly 5 years now. And during one of our conversations, we noticed a disconnect between those who receive the diagnosis and those who care for them and love them. So that is also known as their caregivers. Through our own experiences, we saw this connect was the need of beginning conversations and understanding. And that's where our show's been for nearly 1 year now. And that each of us struggle daily with our own roller coaster of emotions and challenges associated with diagnosis, regardless what that diagnosis is. Could be migraine, it could be even that you're pregnant, to something as heavy as cancer or MS or ALS. So it's a whole spectrum of diagnosis. And there isn't one diagnosis that does not prevent you from going through this roller coaster of emotions. So what we like to do is our main intention was to bring the two together and empower you to open up conversation and understand that you're both going through challenges. It's not just the patient or the person who received the diagnosis. It is everyone in your social circle and even in your extended circle of friends and acquaintances. Because if they are invested in you emotionally in any way, then they have some type of effect hearing this news that you've received this diagnosis. And what I like to do is I like to approach the care and the services that I offer emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, and basically holistically, as does Peggy. So that's why we came together, because we really had a great connection and really had the same mission statement, if you will, in helping others. So what we have come to also want to share is, and really hit home, messages that you're not alone. That's what we're here for every Monday morning on Google Hangouts at 10 a.m. Eastern in the United States, that you're not alone, that you can come to the show, listen to us, you can join in live with the show and ask questions from the comfort of your own home. Or, if you're on a break at work, come on in and join us. So that there's a very dark side to any diagnosis, but did you know it is possible to turn the light back on if you choose? We're here to provide you that guidance that you seek to live and grow and embrace life again. Whether you're the patient, the family member, or the friend, even if you're their professional caregiver, again, it affects all of us. So reach out and we will provide you with proven steps moving forward to easily, calmly move through your roller coaster of emotions and help you create healthful life changes, which in turn will support your goals and your dreams. Now, we'd like to invite you to designate a journal or a notebook for the Surviving the Diagnosis shows and ask you to begin writing down situations and feelings, experiences that may cause some emotional unrest throughout your week. It's your journal. It is, so there's no right or wrong. Whatever you want to write in there, it's for you to begin your healing. Okay, so a little bit of housekeeping is first, today's topic is around trust in asking what you desire. And I just want to make a mention to um, that our community is around diagnosis, and according to the Webster Dictionary, diagnosis is an investigation or analysis of the cause or nature of a condition, situation, or problem. And in all honesty, like I said, I don't know anyone that has never been diagnosed or affected by somebody who has. And if you're watching globally, you can see us on Facebook, YouTube, the live stream. And we'd like you to go over to survivingthediagnosis.com if you would like to get friendly reminders on Monday mornings also. And there's a link to the show, and there will also be a link to some documents that we'll be sharing throughout our shows moving forward. So we're moving it over to Peggy, and Peggy, give a little bit of give your background, and we'll get going
Okay,
on the show today.
sure, sure. Thank you, Sandy. Yeah, I am a registered nurse, but before that, I'm a mother and a wife and a grandmother. And I also am a 2 times cancer survivor. Um, the last being pretty, well, they were both very serious conditions, stage 4. I wasn't expected to live a year, and through the help of a life coach that I found, she helped me get rid of the angst around the fear of recurrence. And lo and behold, I found myself back in that angst 2 weeks ago. I had, excuse me, I had an issue in my neck, which it felt like a lymph node, a swollen lymph node. And I, with my professional training, I do tend to go around my body and check lymph nodes because that's most likely where it would recur or show its recurrence. So I was pretty upset. It threw me right back into what we call the dark hole, and I was very upset. It took I think it took up to 2 weeks to get it resolved after a CAT scan and going to see my hematologist. And that was just a long time. It just drug on and on and on. It just felt like it was never going to end. Get to the root of this and let's get on with my life. So anyway, in the middle of that, I recalled when I was very sick with my cancer, my sister put me on a worldwide global prayer line. And, you know, she kept telling me that it's going all over the world and people are praying for me all over the world. And I thought, geez, maybe I should reach out to my friends on Facebook. Now, it's not a prayer line per se, but I have a lot of friends, and I love every one of them. They're like my best friends, everybody that I connect with. A lot of them I've never even shook their hand or given them a hug, but they're very close friends. So I thought, okay, here goes. I'm going to try this. I thought, well, either they're going to reject me and say, get a grip, you know, quit whining, whatever. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to give it a try. So I wrote the piece out, and I sat there for what seemed like a half hour, but it was just a few minutes, with my finger on my mouse, getting ready to press post. And I thought, boy, do I do it? Do I don't do it? And I did it, and I was amazed. I was so amazed and delighted with all the response that I got. People poured their hearts out to me. It was really emotional for me to see all of those responses. And what I came up with is the fact that when I put myself out there, when I took the chance and said, please, I need help here. Please, everybody, just whatever you do in your own way, send positive energy, send prayers, send Reiki healing, anything that you do to send your intentions toward me will be so greatly appreciated, because I did remember, I did get better after my sister did the prayer line thing, but I contribute a lot of things to that as well as that. And in my opinion, my humble opinion, is that it seems to all be linked together. And like I just said, whether it's Reiki energy sending me, healing intentions, prayers, to me, that's all here, all in one spot. The human being is sending out intentions for another human being. I'm not a preacher, so that's just my own beliefs. And yeah, Sandy and I talked about this, and I said, well, I just felt so vulnerable when I pushed send, but that came back just so positively in wonderful intentions. So I think we're going to just expound on that today. Excuse me again, and going through, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what has led us into um, embrace your vulnerability, embrace your power. And the first step is trusting that in yourself that you can reach out and ask for what you desire. So that's,
Yes.
it's just getting to that point. Um, and that's what we're going to go over today is some of the steps, some of the very, very early steps that both of us have taken in taking that step in trusting that it's okay to show our vulnerability, because through that we reap so many rewards. And though you're living in that fear of actually taking that step, like Peggy said, pushing the send button. Um, once
Yes.
once you work through that block of actually doing it and trusting yourself, it's it's amazing is what it is, and that's what we would like to share with our audience today. And moving forward is how you as well can turn that light back on in your life and just see the infinite possibilities wherever you want your life to lead you.
Right.
And again, it's all about you. That's what we're here for,
Yes.
right?
It is all about you. And I must just add that in the past, I would kind of slink away and wait on my own, with my family, of course. Um, and it was very, very, very hard for us. My daughters would call me several times a day. Did you hear yet? Did you hear yet? We were all on pause. We could not move on with our lives, although, you have to work, you have to go through the process, but our thoughts were right there. And it was very hard. I didn't reach out to anyone on Facebook, and mostly none of my friends,
Hmm.
until it was over. And then I would say, wow, I just went through this um, really tough time. And this time, oh my God, it was so empowering to get all those messages back, and to say that they're right with me, and they've always been, and I I didn't know.
Right.
So it was
Well,
it was really
the other
good.
thing too, Peggy, is when you didn't reach out the previous times, um, and then when you did tell people kind of off the cuff, this is what I just went through, they go, "Why didn't you tell me?" I
That's
would have
it.
been there for you and all of that. So, um, it's people people who really truly are invested in you. They really want to be there for you. And if they can't be there, it's okay. That's another thing. It's sometimes, and we'll discuss this further on the 22nd, but it's receiving, how to receive the responses that you put out there. And we'll
Yeah.
go into those more deeply. But that's a part of it. And I'll mention here too, the 3 points that we're going to be discussing for September is trust in asking for what you desire in your life. The third point is pushing that send button. And just like Peggy was referring to, it doesn't have to be pushing the send button on your computer and social media, but it could be pushing send in the sense that uh, you go to your clergyman and you say, ask for him or her to mention in the sermon, that so and so is requesting prayers. So it's putting yourself out there. And then again, the third point on the 22nd, we'll be talking about receiving what you've put out into the universe and asked for. Um, and my my point in trusting and asking was around my son and when he had his accident. And I had never gone to a support group. I can be totally honest with you because and as I've said on previous shows, that I was raised to, you do it yourself. You find the problem and you find the answer, or you identify the problem, find the answer, and you don't ask for help because when you ask for help, you show weakness and you don't want to do that. So that was my family belief system. But when my son had his accident, uh, I was so humbled by the turnout of people that came to his bedside when he was in the hospital. And there were, Peggy, I shared this with you the other day, that there were people that came because Keith was volunteering down in Louisiana, in Slidell, Louisiana, and helping rebuild after Katrina in New Orleans. And he was volunteering through the Baptist church, and that's where he was staying. And for his paying for his room and board and so forth, he would get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning with another young man that he was with, and they would make breakfast for over 200 volunteers. And then everybody, after they ate, they would go to the job board and they would take things off the job board. And after Keith and Ryan were done with their serving all the volunteers, he would go and take what was left. And so people knew him in from breakfast, basically, and also just being around the church. So there were people he never met personally, but they knew who he was. And they came to the church, came to the hospital room and asked him, the first thing was, you don't know me, but I am affiliated with the church. Would you mind if we said a prayer with you? And for somebody who, we have our belief system, but we weren't church going people. And for us, my husband and I, to stand out in the hall and see complete strangers coming into another person's room that they really don't know and ask if we could pray for them, uh, just touched our hearts in ways words don't describe. So when we returned back home and Keith came back home here with us for his rehabilitation, there was a support group. And I thought, well, maybe this would help me. So I went to it. Um, and it was well organized, it was well run. The only difference for me was Keith was paralyzed now and still is, but he's paraplegic. And there were other women, moms and dads, that were in the support group that had kids, and our kids were adults. Keith was 27 when the accident happened. So, it's not like we were taking care of the little ones, but they're still our kids. They're still our little ones. And these parents were sharing what their experiences were. And some of them had, because their children were quadriplegic, they had to round the clock every 2 hours. They had to hit them on their back to loosen the phlegm in their lungs so they didn't suffocate. And stories like that. And I'm saying, well, I'm challenged because I want to help Keith with his laundry, but he won't let me. um, I didn't see the importance of what my struggle was compared to what this other person was going through. So I dropped out. I dropped out of the support group because I didn't think that I had the right to be there and talk about what I thought at the time being very trivial struggles, um, comparing to what others were experiencing. And this is really what the foundation of Caregiver Sanity was when I founded it, was to bring this message to you that regardless of what level of challenge you are going through, it is just as important as the next person's, because you're going through it. It is a challenge for you. It's a struggle. It's emotional, and you don't know what to do with it. So my mission was to bring to everyone who has been diagnosed. And because I was the caregiver, that's why Peggy and I came together, because she could bring that patient perspective in to that diagnosis as well. So that's our stories on how we have both stepped out and trusted that we could reach out and asked for what we desired. And whether it's support, or whatever you desire, this is what is important. And it's going to give you a couple of learning points, I guess, is what we could call them, Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that is, when you think of reaching out, that I could really use some help. Um, the first question is to ask you, and again, use your journal, or your notebook, however you want to document it, and ask yourself, what is stopping or preventing you from asking for support or for what you desire in your life now? Um, because you want to be very, very clear. We both know, Peggy, you,
Yes.
you you ask for something, you manifest it, and you get it. And the thing is you get it exactly how you ask for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
so good all the time.
Right.
Not so good all the time.
The law of
So,
attraction.
oh, definitely. It's like, did I really ask it to come that way?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I did. So,
Right.
lesson learned. So that's one thing. Be very, very clear in what is, identify what's stopping you or preventing you from asking.
Yeah,
And
that
then,
that's a biggie, Sandy. That's huge
yeah,
because I always, pardon me for butting in, I always said to myself, who cares what I think? And this is not a sympathy magnet here. This is how I grew up.
mm-hmm,
Uh, children should be seen and not heard.
mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter your opinion. You're not supposed to be heard. So you take care of yourself as a child, and that's not, that's kind of the generation back there. Mothers had a load of children usually back in the day. It was not unusual. I came from 5 kids. It wasn't unusual to see 6 or even 7 children in a family, and you just, you kind of managed yourself and your own
Mm-hmm.
feelings and hurts and that sort of thing. So when I would get worried about what was going on with my cancer, I just went in and I kept it in there. And you really do, oh my gosh, you really do need to reach out. It
Hmm.
is so freeing. It is so empowering. And
Definitely.
Sandy, for her issue with her son, that was big. It doesn't matter that her son was just paraplegic, not quadriplegic.
Hmm.
That was still a huge issue to a mother and father. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that
I've
is.
had. Mm-hmm.
So you want to know, the first is you want to ask what is stopping or preventing you from asking. That is where the learned belief is going to come in. Like Peggy just said, um, be seen and not heard. Go within and you identify the problem and you have to work it out yourself because everybody else is you're ignoring you, or there's too many in the family and you're not getting one-on-one. So you learn to do it yourself. Um, you either learn to do it yourself or you're told to do it yourself. uh, the next question I would like to ask you to consider is, what is the upside to not asking for support? I love this question, and I will give credit where credit is due. This is I follow Dr. Carol Look. I love her work. I love how she just so effortlessly, it seems like, gets to the issue, the core issue, so quickly. And this question and the next one are two very common questions she uses in every situation, because it's like the yin and the yang. They're the up. What is the upside? That's the yin to not asking for the support or what you desire in your life. And again, write this down in your journal, and nobody's going to see this. This is your truth, so you can be as honest as you want. Okay? And then the next question would be, what is the downside to not asking for what you desire or the support that you need? What is the downside? So while you ponder on those questions, I'd like to just say for our listeners who are just coming in that you are listening to survivingthediagnosis.com. It's happened to all of us. And I'm Sandy Konkar, along with co-host Peggy Mangan. Wave hi, Peggy.
Huh?
I said wave hi.
Oh, hello, hello. Yes, yes, that's me, Peggy Mangan, and my co-host Sandy, and we're loving what we do for you folks. We love helping. We love having a place for you to go to on Monday mornings. We also have a membership that you will get more intense information, more intense access to Sandy and I, and it's there for you to obtain. It's very cheap. How much are we charging these days, Sandy?
Oh, just what it was when we first launched it. It's $27 a month for the membership. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, where we'll go a bit deeper into what we do on the show here. So we're giving you the highlights of how you can ask, trust in yourself in asking for what you desire in life. And it's so important, especially after, and I'll only mention for cancer patients because we just a couple of weeks ago came from the National Women Survivors Convention, and it was all based on cancer, and it was one of the main topics, one of the main issues that people were who were coming to our booth were discussing with us, and that is, what do I do with my life now? I've gone through the diagnosis, I've gone through the treatments, and now they've sent me home and said, get on with your life. And it
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, how do I do that? So we're trying here, we're going to be bringing you the steps in how we got back into our lives after our diagnoses.
Right.
And so the questions are, what is stopping you or preventing you from asking for the support you need or what you desire in your life? And second, what is the upside to not asking for the support? And thirdly, what is the downside? Now, you might ask, um, what is the upside to not asking? So, or what is the upside? Not what, yeah, what is the upside to not asking? Um, and I would say for me, the upside was nobody's going to see my weakness. Nobody's going to know. You know, I felt at the time everybody kind of turned to me as their rock to get through things. And so if I showed the ones that were looking to me for support, that I had moments of weakness, that I wasn't that rock, that they would crumble and then they would be lost. They wouldn't have anybody to turn to. So that was my upside to why I didn't reach out. Um, and then the downside was that I was internalizing everything. I was actually ignoring that I was angry, that I was scared, and so I was that was my downside of not asking. I kept that all inside, and um, just my energy was low, my focus was off. I wasn't releasing it. I just wasn't doing what I needed, receiving really what I was truly wanting, and that was somebody. And I'm not. My family were supportive of me, but there was a level of um, what do I want to call it? Anonymity isn't the word. I just was reserved in how much I shared, even with my family. So they knew I was upset, but they didn't. I didn't let them see the the um, the level of how upset I was.
The vulnerability.
Yeah, exactly. That's the word, the vulnerability. I didn't let them really see what was truly going on. So,
Yeah,
uh, but so those were my up and downsides to the issue, and what was stopping me, because uh, I felt that they needed me to be that rock, not that quote unquote weak person. So.
that's where Sandy and I have a lot in common. That's where we really understand each other because I was the same way. When I got diagnosed and I was very ill, I was trying to be the rock for them.
Hmm.
And them meaning my family and very close friends. Um, I wouldn't let myself be vulnerable and say, wow, I really need this, you guys. Big hug, group hug, whatever. But I didn't let myself do it, and that's so it's disruptive for them, and it was disruptive for me because I really needed it, and they just went with the fact, well, Peg's really strong, and if she's going to be that strong, we will too, you know. So everybody stood there stoic beside my bed. The upside, you know, it was the same. I mean, uh, the upside was not to show my vulnerability. The downside was right along Sandy's lines. You just can't show your vulnerability until you say to yourself, "Hey, I can do this. I can do this," and then it's so much better, and it's just the awareness that you can do it.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to show you an example of one of the modalities that we use, and we call it transformational tapping, which is modeled after emotional freedom techniques. So we'll be doing that in a minute. But I wanted to also kind of touch upon a a, a group of people who have a tendency to reserve themselves from showing their vulnerability. And that can be children that have been raised in an abusive situation. So it could be physically abused, it could be mentally abused, but you learn as an abused child um, that you don't ask for help.
Right,
And that you don't tell anyone what is going on. I
right.
remember, I mean, I came from an abusive home, and I was instructed with a heavy hand that you don't tell anybody what goes on in this house. And you didn't, because if it got out, you were in fear of what would happen if they, your parent found out. And then the other is sometimes, and there was a situation in my life that people knew what was going on, but no one came to help. They abandoned me. So I felt, well, I reached out, nobody showed up. And so I figured, well, that didn't work, so I won't do that again. So that's where even our beliefs, again, even things that we actually experienced, not that somebody was telling us what
Right,
not to do, but we experienced the results
right.
of doing something and it didn't turn out. So then that became our belief. So then when you are in a situation that you really need to reach out and ask for help, you remember that. It triggers that old memory that, well, that didn't work out so hot last time, so I'm not even going to try it.
So don't
So,
even do it. Don't
uh,
even go there. Yeah,
yeah.
the again, Sandy and I don't know. I think the universe put us together. We came from the same kind of background
Mm.
in that mine was more of a mental abuse and an ill mother, uh, postpartum depression that really went way too far, and there was 5 kids in the home, and it was so it was so unreal. It's if I would have recount the story today, it was you wouldn't believe. So I decided at the age of 8, 9, 10, wow, I'm not going to say a word about this to anybody because that was just my secret. And I know it didn't come out for a long, 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 long time. And you really need to release all that stuff from childhood. Um, I have, oh my gosh, and I know Sandy's worked on it, and you just dump it because there is some um, uh, information that children that come from abuse do have more dis-ease when they get older. And I'm not going to speak for Sandy because, my goodness, hope she doesn't. But I've had 2 cancers, and I've dumped a lot of childhood stuff. So here I am 9 years later, and I believe that aspect is gone.
Yeah. Well, and I think that I can honestly say, because I started studying energy psychology and energy work years and years and years ago, decades, a couple decades ago. And but in the last 2 decades, I can honestly say that's where I did the really heavy work on this topic of abuse. And I don't think that I could almost say that I would not be at least in this exact spot right now today had I not begun that work. And 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 I'll just bring in the quote that I loved. I don't know if she meant it to be a quote, but I heard Louise Hay on an interview one time, and she said something, and I may be paraphrasing because I don't have it right in front of me, but it's something goes along the lines like this: if you want to clean any house, you first have to look at the dirt. And that just, when I heard those words, it just made so much sense to me.
Yes,
And, it's not like, um, okay, I got to clean the whole house today. I'm just going to clean the bathroom today, or I'm just going to clean the bathtub today, and maybe the rest of the bathroom will look better than just by doing the bathtub, instead. So my point is, it can be done. You can approach things in little bits. It's
in
not
segments,
in
sure.
segments. Yeah, it's not that you have to go, oh my God, I got to clean this house. No. So that's your ultimate goal, is to clean the house, but give yourself permission to take time. And which leads me into connecting with self. You know, you might be listening to us and going, I have no idea how to even begin. And I would like to suggest that there is prayer. You can look for a Reiki practitioner or a group. You could do something along the lines of Qigong or Tai Chi or meditation. These all open up your spirit. They all open up your soul
Yes,
to
they
your
do.
healing. And you know, and prayer is at the top of the list because commonly we hear a lot of people talking about prayer. And Peggy mentioned that that's what really was her catalyst the last couple of weeks to reach out. But you may be disconnected from prayer for whatever your reason is. So we invite you to check out, you know, Reiki or, like I say, meditation, Qigong, or even just sitting silently and being with yourself and listening to yourself, listening to what comes into your mind. And whatever floats into your mind, whatever comes like that, that is the thing that you want to go, oh, okay, I'll talk to you. Because when it comes into your mind like that, it's saying, hello, I want to be seen. I want to be recognized, and we need to have a talk. So those are the steps. So I'll just recap, and then we're going to go into some tapping. So you want to first identify what is stopping you and preventing you from reaching out and asking for support or what you desire. Second, what's the upside to not asking for the support, and what is the downside to not asking for the support? Um, Identify what your situation is, maybe as you were growing up. Maybe there's learned beliefs there and family beliefs that you don't do this and you don't do that, and you should do this and you should do that. Okay. And then how to connect with self. Again, prayer, if that works for you, Reiki, Qigong, meditation, and just sitting quietly with yourself. And for some people, that can be scary, sitting in quiet, in silence. So,
Mm-hmm. Also
so
sitting in nature, sitting out in
yeah,
nature and just listening to nature.
definitely. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's about, well, gosh, about quarter till, Peggy. We went on a little longer than I planned, but that's okay. Um,
Moving
so
on.
yeah, moving on. And I would like to take this moment and say you're watching Surviving the Diagnosis. It's happened to all of us. And if you would like to have friendly reminders of the show on Monday mornings, please visit survivingthediagnosis.com and just click onto the button that says Access the Hangouts, and you'll get a friendly reminder. And also, when you sign up for the friendly reminder, you will receive on Wednesdays our newsletter, which has the link to the replay.
Right.
And so,
How about our sponsor? How about Moira? Hello,
oh yeah,
Moira.
yeah, thank you, Moira Hutchinson. She is a hypno chemo practitioner. And again, go to survivingthediagnosis.com and you can see her banner that, along with other sponsors that believing in our message, and it's right on the homepage. And if you click on her banner there, it'll take you right to her website. Or Moira was our guest in March, and it was a phenomenal show. If you'd like to listen to that replay, go over to survivingthediagnosis.com/Moira, and that's M as in Mary, OIRA, Moira.
Wonderful lady.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And we so appreciate her being a sponsor and believing in our message.
Hmm. So we're going to now transition into doing a little tapping, and the topic is asking is scary. So, and again, if you're unfamiliar with tapping, simply go over to survivingthediagnosis.com and you'll see a link to our tapping diagram, but we'll walk you through it.
Right. And as we tap along with us, you'll see Sandy's box and mine, and we will tap on the spots, and we will go in order, but it's not that important. If you miss one of the spots, you can just keep going. Just keep following us. So I guess I'm going to lead it today, right, Sandy?
Yeah, and before we start, if anybody, any of the listeners have any questions, please feel free. We've got the Q&A live, so if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. Any comments,
Right.
and so let's go into tapping.
Okay, and if we trigger you, please just keep tapping until your numbers come down. Okay, well, all right. I took a few notes, and my situation is not as important. Um, Not right, no right to be here. Anger was also in there. What would you say your strongest emotion was that you'd like to address?
Well, I think just the topic, going along with the topic today, asking is scary,
Okay.
um, and because I think that maybe the anger will come out. What was the other? I forget the other thing that I had mentioned.
You're not as important. Your situation is not as important
Yeah,
as.
I think that was it, Peggy. I think that was the biggest thing for me. It'd be to step out and ask for what I desire. It's scary because who wants to hear what I have to say?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
right.
So,
But
yeah.
all right, so going with that, how strong is that feeling? My situation is not as important as anyone else's, and who wants to hear it?
Yeah. Well, I'll say that's like a probably a every couple of month thing that comes up for me anyway. It depends on what I'm doing,
Hmm.
and I want to share something. It's like, oh, maybe they don't want to. So, I'm going to say that it's a good seven. It's a good seven, and go ahead. It's a good seven.
Okay, and that's on a scale, folks, from 0 to 10. 10
Mhm.
being the strongest feeling, and 0 is no, no, doesn't affect me at all.
Oh,
So,
and can I say something real quick, Peggy? I saw a diagram, or not a diagram, but an image over the weekend, and it was really cool. I connected with it. The zero is just visualize the person doing yoga. Their legs are crossed, their hands are in position, and they're just relaxed. And that's the zero. And then the 10 is somebody had their hair and they were going, ah! I love the visual.
well, that
So
was that. I can see that in a cartoon, and they're all freaked out. Yeah,
yeah,
that is
exactly.
that is.
It was like your hair, static electricity. The hair was all up. So
Yeah,
I thought, oh, that is an awesome way to understand if you're not familiar with the 0 to 10.
yeah. That's a great image in my head. I'll tell you what. Okay. Well, then let's just start on the karate chop point, people, and it's right here.
Hmm.
You can see my hand.
There you go.
And okay, and Sandy, just repeat after me. And even though
Even though
asking is scary for me,
asking is scary for me,
even though I get scared when I even contemplate asking people for something,
even though it's scary when I even contemplate asking for something,
even though I really would like to have support, I just can't do it.
even though I would really like to have support, I just can't seem to do it.
I can't ask.
I can't ask.
I really, really accept and appreciate and love myself.
I really appreciate and love myself,
And even though
even though
I feel that I'm not as important as the next person,
I feel that I'm not as important as the next person.
because why do they want to listen to me?
Because why would they want to listen to me?
And even though
And even though
I'm not as important I deeply and completely accept myself.
No, I feel I'm not as important. I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though it's very scary,
Even though it's very scary.
and I don't feel I'm entitled to ask for support,
And I don't feel I'm entitled to ask for support.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Eyebrow. Asking is scary.
Asking is scary.
Why would they want to listen to me
Why would they want to listen to me
and add support at the same time?
and ask for it at the same time?
Why would they want to give me support?
Why would they want to give me support?
Who am I?
Who am I?
I usually give the support.
I usually give the support.
Under the arm. I'm the one that's supposed to be supporting people.
I'm the one that's supposed to be supporting people.
I don't ask for it.
I don't ask for it. That gets me in trouble.
Right. That gets me in trouble when I ask for support.
That gets me in trouble. That's gotten me in trouble when I asked.
I'm very uncomfortable when I ask for support.
I'm very uncomfortable when I ask for support.
After all, my needs aren't important.
After all, my needs really aren't that important.
Not like the other person.
Not like the other person.
I'm here to help, not ask for help.
I'm here to ask. I'm here to say that again.
I'm here to help,
I'm
not
here
ask
to
for
help,
help.
not to ask for help.
It's my job to help other people.
My job. My job to help other people.
So it seems very foreign and scary
It feels very foreign and scary
to reach out
to reach out,
and ask for support.
to ask for support.
I'm wondering
I'm wondering
if I could just take a deep breath
if I could just take a deep breath
and do that once.
and do that once.
I wonder what would happen.
I wonder what would happen.
I bet I could ask anybody I know for support.
I bet I could ask anybody for support.
And maybe
And maybe
they wouldn't reject me.
they wouldn't reject me.
Take a deep breath.
hmm
Where are you at now? 0 to 10. And I forgot to ask you where it felt, where you felt it in your body, but
Well, asking for help is scary. And what I'm doing is I'm tuning into my body and see if that's resonating with me anywhere.
mm-hmm,
And right now, I'd say it's a 2, but it's in my head. It's like right here.
mm-hmm.
But one of the things that came up when I was tapping was, and you said, I'm going to have to go back on the replay. uh, I just know that when there was a point that you said something, and when I asked for help, what came to me was their response is their stuff, not yours. So that's just something that I heard differently, because I was so invested in how they're going to respond more than my sharing. It was more in how they are going to respond.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their stuff, it's not mine.
Well,
So,
that's very healthy.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so if I can share and reach out and ask for what
Mm-hmm.
I need, it's about me. It's not about them. I'm asking.
Right,
So,
right.
I'd say that too is as we're talking about it, it's kind of floating away that that was the piece, I think, of my being scared of asking, because I was what really the true the core issue of what was preventing me from asking was
Mm-hmm.
not my asking. It was my how they were going to respond.
Right, right.
And
Would
that's
you be
not my stuff.
rejected?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it could be a rejection. It could be, yeah, rejection covers it. Yeah, but it's
Mm-hmm.
theirs.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. That was the light bulb, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And back to what I said in the beginning, there's a darkness to this, and this is turning the light on to the darkness, and that is mine. Is that I'm more scared, or I was more scared in sharing for fear of what their response would be, their
Right,
reaction or response, not my
right.
sharing. So because
Do you,
okay,
do
yeah,
you feel like we should go a little farther with the two and maybe try to tap that down?
yeah, I don't. Oh, for the new aspect. No, because I think it was just really an awareness to me
Okay.
now through this. I was looking at it that I was scared of sharing, and really it wasn't. I was scared. I wasn't scared in sharing. What I was had a fear of was their reaction, and through the tapping on being scared to share, cleared or uh, cleared my vision, gave me a new
Okay.
per- gave me a new perspective that
Okay.
it's their stuff, not mine.
Wonderful, wonderful. So that was a quick session. She came to a resolution of that um, feeling that asking for support is scary,
Right.
and the fact that it was their stuff and not her stuff when she does ask. So that's
Right.
wow,
Well,
amazing.
I was just thinking, Peggy, because you know, if we could do a demo, because I mean, because of the work I've done, I'm pretty good at it, or pretty good at understanding what just happened. But for
Hmm.
somebody who's not, we could do a round around the fact that it's it was it's not my stuff, it's theirs, and I have to be okay with that.
Right, right.
You
You want to
know,
do that or
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think that that's needed for people to see how you would how you would, because that aspect came up, how you could, what, for lack of a better word, integrate that it's their stuff, not yours.
right? Okay, even though
Even though
what came up was it's their stuff and not mine.
what came up is it's their stuff, not mine.
And their response is based on their thinking and not mine.
Their response is based on their stuff.
On their stuff,
Yeah.
and how they respond to me is definitely their stuff.
And how they respond to me is definitely their stuff.
And so I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
And even though they would come back with their stuff,
Even though they would come back with their stuff,
it has nothing to do with me.
it has nothing to do with me.
I deeply and completely accept myself and my feelings.
I deeply and completely accept myself and my feelings.
And even though they would come back with maybe a negative statement, that's their stuff.
Even though they may come back with a negative statement, that's their stuff, not mine.
And right, and not yours, not mine. So I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
On the eyebrow, that's their stuff.
That's their stuff, not mine.
Uh, when I ask for support and it comes back in a negative way, that's their stuff,
When I ask for support, it's their stuff if they come back in a negative way.
and that's their stuff,
It's their stuff, not mine.
not mine. Absolutely, their stuff.
It's their stuff. And I'm okay with that.
And I'm okay with that. hmm So I wonder if
I wonder if
next time I ask for support,
I ask for support,
I'm going to be okay with the response
I'll be okay with the response
because I know
because I know
that sometimes it's just their response and not mine.
because I know it's their response, not mine,
And I'm okay with that.
and I'm okay with that.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Did that get it to some? Like minus?
Yeah, it evened out that I'm okay. It kind of like integrated that thing, that feeling that it's okay. It's me. It's all about me. It's all about you. So it's your healing and it's your, I'm okay. So I'm okay with sharing. I'm okay with asking and I'm okay with whatever your response is because all I'm responsible for is how I react to your response.
Right, right.
So, yeah.
So, well,
I found that to be
wonderful.
very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're at that magic hour.
Oh, we are. Yes. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I just like to thank everybody for listening in, joining us. And again, if you would like to join us live on the call, and we'll be happy to go through a tapping uh, rounds with you on specific topics that you're challenged with, please go over to survivingthediagnosis.com, click on Access the Hangouts, and click on there's a drop-down menu, and just click all of the above, and you'll get all the above, and you'll get sent a link on Monday mornings to actually get right on the show. And to do that, though, you will need to have a Google account, and those are free. And if you need help with that, reach out to us by emailing us hello@survivingthediagnosis.com, and just let us know you're interested in receiving the Monday morning links to the actual panel. And the panel is Peggy's there, and I'm over here. You see us on the bottom. If you want to keep your anonymity, you can just keep your microphone on and turn off the camera.
Right,
So it's very friendly for everybody to be seen or not. So,
right.
but until next week, we like to always leave you with that little message, if you will, that your hopes and dreams are within reach and you can live in freedom and peace. So have a great week, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody. We're here for you.